Okay, on this video we're going to look at how to get our behaviour data from how we record it on a recording sheet at the zoo or wherever we're taking the observations. We put it into an Excel sheet so we have a complete data set in one place, but we need to summarise that data in order to take it forward for the GENSTAT data. So what we do have on this sheet, for example, is we have lemur behaviour. We had two keepers, A and B, that were observed on different days, and the behaviour of the animals was observed at 8 different points in the day. So observation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 minutes apart at morning feeding, and we were looking at the general behaviour of the lemurs, and also we added something to do with their position, so we had close, medium and far as well, separate from their general ethogram. Okay, so what we're trying to do is group these observations together. So these 8 observations, we're trying to get them into a single figure per day. So what we're going to try and end up with is something like this I have on the second spreadsheet, where we have simply 8 days of observation for keeper A and 8 days of observation for keeper B, and we have a total number of scans spent doing the individual behaviours for each day, and that's going to give us a total proportion of scans that we can use in our overall analysis. So here, out of all the scans that were taken, and there will be 48 in all, 32 of those scans were spent being alert on day 1, and then we can compare the 8 figures from keeper A with the 8 figures from keeper B. Okay, let's see how we do this. So we're going to start off with this initial sheet here. It's all set up from the original recording sheets. There's a few things we need to do still. I like to do a check to make sure that our data is of good quality. So there's 6 lemurs, and we have alert, locomotion, feeding, grooming, active and non-visible as our behaviours. These 3 are all location-based behaviours. So I think it's very good practice to add in a column. So I'm going to right-click the column and insert a new column, and I'm going to call that column check 1. And check 1 is simply going to be a sum of the behaviour columns. So I'm going to put equals sum, open brackets, and I'm going to select those 6 that are behaviours, not the observation one, just those 6 behaviours. Now close the brackets, and they should add up to 6 because there's 6 lemurs here. And if I click there, and the little black square in the corner, if I double click that, it's going to take the formula down for the whole series, and pleasingly there are 6 observations for every time point. That's excellent. And I'm going to do the same for my location data as well. So here I'm going to add in check 2. Make that bigger and bold, and I'm also going to put the equals sum, open the brackets, and I'm going to do the sum of these 3 places, the close, near and far, and again double click there, and it's all the way down to the bottom. Yes, so I have quality data. I don't have any missing data to worry about. I don't have any extra observations, and so sometimes I might have had 7 lemurs when only 6 were available. So I've checked that my data is correct. Okay. Last thing before we take it into GENSTAT is we need to tell GENSTAT what are our factor columns. So day is a factor, so I'm going to put an exclamation mark here. Keeper is also a factor, and observation is going to be a factor, and that's important because it tells GENSTAT what this data type is, and it can put it in the right menus and boxes later on. Okay. So that's all ready to go. I just click anywhere in this data set, top corner is a good one, and if I press Control A for Control All, it selects the whole data set. I want to copy this, and then I go to the GENSTAT program, open that up, and as always it's spread new from clipboard here, and set that as the active sheet. I'll press OK, and because I've set up the factor columns already, it should go all according to plan. So everything's fine. These are all labelled V for variables, and that's just fine. So I'm going to press OK. Do I just want this data in the active sheet to be available? Yes. So here, if I'd, for instance, forgotten to right-click to make observation a factor, if I right-click observation, I could have changed it here in GENSTAT. Okay, so I make sure that I've got the window tab click to the bottom, and there's my data there. So what I need to do now is summarize that data. So the summary command that we're looking for is actually on the spread menu. So spread, calculate, summary stats. Okay. And I have all this information. So I want to group the observation data together. So what I want is, first I'm going to put in keeper and day. So I double click those and they appear here. I could use this button alternatively. But I don't want observation in there, otherwise I just get the same as what I have here. So, and what I want is the total across the 8 observations. So if I click alert and I click total, I get the total of alert, and you'll see where that goes. Locomotion, total, or I can simply click feeding and using the shift button press the bottom one to collect all of them and press total, and that's everything there. Here, so we have the total of each of the behaviours, including those relating to the position of the enclosure. Don't worry about the check 1 and check 2, they're just in there anyway. Press OK, and we have this new spreadsheet. Now it's slightly different in the titles. You see that instead of keeper, I've got F keeper because the keeper was a factor, day was a factor, and I've kept those 2 in. And then I have T for total alert, T for total locomotion, T for feeding, etc., etc. Okay, so that's nearly there. So that's the data we need, and we can process that. We can use that straight away in GENSTAT to analyze it, but I think it's best to store it in Excel for future reference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Edit, and there's this new command, Copy Special, and that copies the column titles as well, particularly column titles that we wouldn't get otherwise. So when we copy the tabbed text, I'm going to go back to Excel, I'm going to look at a new sheet, I'm going to right click, paste, and there are my data. So it's all ready to go into GENSTAT for future analysis. So I know we've just been in GENSTAT, but that was all part of the processing. Now I've got 8 days for keeper A, 8 days for keeper B, and it's going to be much more straightforward to analyse those data. Thank you for watching.